Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Most High in Christ. 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 Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. So, shalom, shalom. So, we gotta talk about something that keep on reoccurring. So, amongst the women, um, with submitting. We have an issue with submission with the sisters. Um, and every now and then, y'all will go through and try to navigate through this. Not many of you, not many of you, but um, some of you, you'll go and you'll try to navigate through the scriptures and seek out something that'll take away that which is written, which is your order, which is to submit. And in the midst of it, we get to the point where everything is always sister some way, shape, or form trying to bring it back to some type of 50-50 thing. It's all about trying to make this what United States taught y'all was equality, or just outright you want to overrule the man. And y'all try any way to scratch and claw to get out of submitting. So we're gonna go into the scripture real quick. Um, so I want to see how my mind just left. I want to go to scripture that has been controversial this week amongst the circle, where the attention came from this week. So let's go to Ephesians 5:22. I mean Ephesians 5 first. Let's start there. Ephesians chapter 5. Now, first, you know what? I think I know what I'll do. We're gonna go to Ephesians. We're gonna hold it there. Ephesians chapter 5. But I'm not gonna go into depth. I'm not gonna read too much of this because then if anybody's close to the situation, they'll be able to pinpoint um, the couple that I'm speaking to. Excuse me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna read after certain things happen, and this was a response that came to me. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay, we'll get to it in a second. Mm, mm, mm. I apologize. Every Saturday, every once in a blue moon, somebody want to call. Okay, so so it says this seems one-sided. When you get married, you submit to each other. He and so after I responded to that, and um, outside that, maybe your personal feelings of man is not submitting to, it's not to submit to his wife, as in the context of what we speaking of, right? So eventually, more things happen. I'm away from the situation, and it gets back to me, and then this was the last message that came to me from this particular person. It says, so after I gave the correction about the husband is to submit to the Most High, the Word of God, and the wife is to submit to the husband. And that's what it is. The husband ain't submitting to the wife. Um, her response was, and husbands love their wives like Christ loved the church. Husbands leave that part off. So just to have something to say. That's the thing about you women who just can't submit. You can't be quiet. You got to have something to say. So you couldn't just leave it with the fact that you were corrected. You had to come back with husbands leave that part out. They're supposed to love their wives like Christ loved the church. And the thing is, women, y'all take verses like that and y'all run it and then try to stretch it and make it fit any and everything under any umbrella that you want it to fit under. That's not what it's talking about. We read what Christ did for the church. But the part that wives leave out, right? But the part that you wives seem to keep leaving out is that the things Christ did for the church didn't just come all willy nilly. It didn't just come all willy nilly. No, you had to keep. Christ gave orders. Christ gave commands. It didn't just come all willy nilly, and the church had to submit and be willing to follow Christ and do whatever it was He ordered and told them to do. But they leave that part out. So now let's go to the verse that was first pulled out to me though. Start there. That's why I want to start in Ephesians today. I'm gonna start at Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So it says submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. Okay, so in the fear of God. Now, what does it mean to fear God? Sirach 2 and 15. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight. Okay, so it says they that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. Okay, so obeying the laws and commandments. Now, Lord told we get our examples from Christ. Now, this is what you understand. Those who didn't want to follow Christ, Christ didn't beg them to follow him. When they walked away, he said, he turned around and looked at the little people that remained and said, will you also go? And they said, where will we go? Thou have the bread of life. They followed Christ. And for those people that followed Christ, Christ provided all things. We see what Christ did for them. Christ, as a fact, let's get an example. Because the Pharisees, before we even started, okay, so my mind's starting to run. Okay, so submit yourselves one to another to fear of God. So now we're talking about submitting. How we just figured out for us it means what? To obey the words to obey the laws and commandments of the Most High. So the commandments that the Lord gave to a man pertaining to his wife. So in this particular situation, to submit to the Lord means, first of all, let's look at that word submit. See, my mind running now. It's about to be cooking. Submit. Boom. Accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. So to yield or accept superior authority, in other words. So now submit to each other in the fear of the Lord. The Lord gave us orders then. That means to obey what the Lord said to do in this particular situation. So now, how did the Lord tell the man to submit in this particular case? If how would the man submit if he's uh, uh obeying in the fear of the Lord? The Lord said we do what Christ did. Okay, so the order that we got, let's jump down to verse. Let's see the man. Let's start with the man. Verse 25. Let's start at 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Okay. Love your wife like Christ loved the church. Well, we know what Christ did for the church. We read about Christ fed the church. Christ led the church spiritually in all things. Christ provided for the church. Christ healed people of the church. And when the time came, Christ died for the church. Those are the things that we can read clearly that Christ did for the church, right? But we also know what Christ gave the church orders. Christ gave the church commands, and the church had to submit and follow and do that for those things to be provided. So we get that 25. Okay, now let's jump down to verse 28. Verse 28, and it reads, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So it says that the man would love his wife. It says he would the man is to love his wife as he loved his own body. Meaning what? He wouldn't abuse her. So now we covering what the man is to do if he's submitting. He's to provide. He's to protect. If it comes down to it, he dies for it. He doesn't abuse it. Those are the things that the man does in his submission in the fear of the Lord. Then it says, because the Lord is his superior. When we read the order, it never said anything about a wife having any rank over a husband where she was his head or anything like that. So he's at some point he has to come down and be under her superiority. It was never nowhere in there written in that order. So therefore, We read what the man does in his submission to the Lord for the wife. Now, what did it tell the wife to do? Verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. Submit yourselves submit unto your husband as unto the Lord. So guess what Christ did? He gave orders, he gave commands, and the church had to follow it. So in your submission, you are submitting to him. He's the superior. It's no bringing it down even to where we submitting to each other. There's no, he's your superior. Submit to him as unto the Lord. Let's read it another place in the same chapter. We got verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto the Lord at some Salakia. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Right? Let's jump down. Verse 24. Therefore, as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be unto their own husbands in everything. In everything. So how do we get to these places where we having arguments about submission? Well, a wife thinks that her husband's supposed to submit to her too, when the Bible just gave it clear. In the same chapter that you tried to use, gave it to you clear of who clearly submits to who. The man submits to what the Lord, the orders that the Most High gave him to do. You submit to what he told you to do. But you know what? You're trying to make it equality. That's why you ran the verse 21 thinking that this verse was going to make equality. Because you want to be the same thing. You still got the same spirit still rests on our sisters that rested on mother freaking Eve. Wouldn't listen. What did Eve want to do? Make herself equal. Let's go down to Genesis. Let me Genesis chapter 3. I'm trying to get the chapter pulled up. All right, here we go. Genesis chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse. Start at verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Now, Most High ain't told her nothing. He told that to Adam, and Adam told her this. So this is an order she's gotten from her husband, not to touch that. The Most High gave us the laws not to do this. Why? Because the Lord's you submit to me, and she gonna submit to you. So he gave her the order. So therefore, she already know this order came straight from her husband, showing from the very beginning, that the Lord has always gave dominion, like the dominion over a woman of a wife directly to her husband. Because where do you read where the Lord sat Eve down and spoke to her? He didn't. He spoke specifically to Adam, and Adam gave the law to Eve, showing that what? From the very beginning, it was always said that the woman was to yield to the instruction of her husband. So here we go. Adam already told her what it is. She telling the serpent she know what it is. But guess what happened? The serpent told her, you could be equal. How did he tell her? Watch this. You shall not touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. For God knoweth that the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. She wanted to be equal. She wanted to be equal. Same thing y'all do. Y'all run to these verses like Ephesians 5:21 and try to make that a verse to make your relationship your relationship, because it ain't of God once you take it out of the original form. Once you pervert it, it ain't of God. So now you trying to take that scripture and use it to spread equality throughout your relationship. Now your husband supposed to submit to you too, and really in reality you just want some authority. But the Bible said you are to have no authority over a man, not even your husband. Let's go to Sirach. I'm gonna prove that real quick. Let's get that real quick. Sirach 19. Let me get there for a second, y'all. My books is towed up, so it's taking me a bit. Sirach 33. Okay. So, see what I mean? I gotta figure out which side to be on. Sirach 33, verse 19. Sirach 33:19, and it reads. Sirach 33:19, and it reads, give not thy son and wife, thy brother and thy friend power over thee while thou livest. Give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou be entreated for and thou be entreat for the same again. So it says, give not thy son and thy wife power over thee. Uh what did Solomon's mom tell him? Proverbs 31. I mean Salakia. Mine right. My mind's slipping on me. Let me get that real quick. Proverbs. It was the Proverbs. Proverbs 31, verse 1. Proverbs 31, verse 1. The word of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son? What, the son of my womb? What, and what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. So we are commanded not to give authority to you, not to submit to you. You using this one verse to try to make you know how much of the Bible you would have to make a contradiction for that one verse to mean what you trying to make it mean? Why? Because our sisters have a problem with submission. Yes, the Bible told the man to love the wife as Christ loved the church. And guess what? That came with that came with you submitting first. When we read Ephesians 5, how y'all just try to jump past whatever. Shalom, shalom. Are you trying to jump past? When we was in Ephesians 5, notice verse 22 came first. So wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. Verse 24 came first. Submit unto your husbands in everything. In everything. But the problem is, you don't want to submit. And then you scream up, oh, Christ, love your wife as Christ loved the church. As if you get these benefits without submitting first. And that's the problem that we have today. It's too many women running around Without husbands begin the benefits of husbands. You don't get, if we were keeping the commandments the way that we supposed to, you women would be running to be covered. The problem is America has made it too comfortable for women to run up out, and some of our men, we have been trained to give all these benefits, these husbands benefits, to stray and strange women. You had to submit. So we know what Christ did for the disciples. We know what Christ did for the church. We know his love. We saw the examples. We saw what happened when the people came up to Christ. I mean, when the people came up and they said, why do your disciples not fast? That was a prime example of us seeing what Christ, how big Christ was to the church, what his love, what he did for the church. Let's go to Matthew's 9. Let's go to chapter 9, Matthew's chapter 9, verse 14. Matthew's 9 and 14. And it reads, then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but thy disciples fast not? Now, hold on. This is just a side note. Notice it said John's disciples came to Christ and said, we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples don't. So what? Y'all remember I told y'all something a while back. We'll talk about that later. That's just another piece for y'all to put in y'all piggy bank. All right. Now let's read this again though. It says, then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but thy disciples fast not? I remember Christ is the husband. We get an example of how Christ loved the church for the woman who wanted to throw that out there. It says, then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but thy disciples fast not? And Christ said unto them, can children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the day will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. Now, they might not have caught all of that and understood it, but Christ gave a parable, sort of like, say, can the children of the bridegroom, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? No. But when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, then they shall fast. No man putteth a piece of new cloth into an old garment, for that which okay, let's get down to the point. Why he spoke these things? Okay. So now the reason why I pointed it out is because what Christ was basically pointing out to them is that because he's there, he's providing all things, they have no need to fast. But there'll come a time when he's gone. When he's gone, the benefits and everything of him is gone. And guess what that means? Now you fast. Right now, they don't have to. They go to him for all things. He's there. It's the same thing with a husband. There's benefits that comes with him being there. And while he's there, you submit to him. You have no need to run off all things. Why am I bringing this up? Because I said there are too many stray and strange women that have been given the benefits thereof of a husband. If we took those things away, submission would come like a mother lover. The protection that's sought out. That's the benefit of a wife. That's the benefit of having a husband. He protects you. The men around him help protect you. You strange woman, free wild strange women don't get protected. But America and we as men have made it our business to just give that free benefit away. To now it ain't cherished. They think it's expected and it's supposed to happen. No, that comes with the protection. That comes with the benefit of submitting to a husband. If a sister in the congregation is out in distress because she's married, I know she submits to a man. I know she's under a hedge. She will be protected. This strange woman I don't know, there's a benefit to having a husband, but we've just given those benefits of having a husband away to strange women. And then because of that, submission, and I'm breaking it down from just that protection part, but it comes to it trickles to many other things. And we constantly having this fight in this battle because sisters don't want to submit. You want to yield authority. Even in the church. So when we come back to Ephesians 5, and we read that the woman submit to the husband as unto the Lord, and submit to her husband in all things. We read about the way that the man is to love the wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, and to love his wife as he loved his own body. Meaning he's not going to abuse her. We read these. As we read that, we get to the point where the women want to remove their thing. Because here, okay, so now she says, as in the church. I'm gonna bring up the point. Let's go back to Corinthians real quick. 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 14. Why? Because the church, you got the literal church, the congregation, and then you got the church, which is the spiritual part, the aspect of the church. It's like the marriage in your house. Both of these are considered churches. You were still giving orders. I'm gonna show. This is where the problem comes in, because you don't want to submit. There is, when the Lord talks about a man and a woman, a man submitting in the fear of the Lord, that's by the laws that he has given that man. But for you, it's to submit to that man. So when we get into the literal church, let's go back to the literal church. Let's see something. I'm going to show. Let's look at the literal church. What authority did the woman have in the literal church? 1 Corinthians chapter 14, start at verse 33. 1 Corinthians 14, 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. Let your women keep silent in the churches. Let your women keep silent in the churches. So we already get, before we get nitty gritty deep down into it, we get the first order: shut the hell up. See, this is the problem. You want so much authority, you just yap, 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 talk, 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 and you think that your goddamn emotions supposed to bog this man down, and you feel like if you got the last word, or if he say, man, whatever, man, you won. Versus, let's go, let's just read, because my mind running. Like I said, it says, for God ain't the author of confusion, but peace, and all the churches of the saints. Let your women keep silence in the churches. So one, shut the hell up. But listen, for it is not permitted, for it is not permitted, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. But they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. So in the literal church, you were commanded to be. This is why you got to understand this, because you didn't necessarily even have to be there for the functions of the Lord to go forth. For the functions that the Lord got, you didn't even have to be there. So if you were going to be amongst us, there were rules that you had to abide by. And one was shutting the fuck up. And the other one was doing what the hell you were told. That's what obedience is. Those are the two. We just read it. Let's read it again. Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted to them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience. Commanded to be under obedience. You didn't even have to be there. So if you were going to be there amongst us, shut up and be willing to do what you told. Be under obedience. As also saith the law. 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. So what is this telling you? It wanted you to shut the hell up so much. They wanted you so goddamn quiet that your questions got asked at home. You only spoke if you were spoken to. That's what how are we getting to arguments about submission? Of who submits to who when we read in exactly word for word who's supposed to do what? We have a problem with sisters not wanting to submit. Why? Because a lot of you are receiving the benefits of husbands without having husbands. Sex you down, and they ain't got no, and you ain't married to him. You ain't tied to him. You ain't submitting to this person on a daily. They sex you down. They go on to live their life, and you go do what the you want to do. That's a bit that what should be eliminated. The sexing you down. You shouldn't be receiving that benefit without a husband. But because you can just get it so freely, you won't submit to a man. What's next? A dude, you go out there and run out in the streets and get into some mess. It's a man somewhere out of the blue coming running across the street with his shirt off, ready to fight and protect you. Another benefit of a husband. If that was wiped away, we ain't fighting for strange women. That submission, that's another reason they're not submitting. Oh, the providership. If the government wasn't handing out these weeks, housing, food stamps, snaps, all whatever, everything, if you wasn't so sure that the government would provide those things for you, you would cherish a man. You would submit. And for those who may even feel, well, you know what? There's always some dude that will come and feed you. That's stopping a lot of you from submitting because you're getting what? Too many benefits of having a husband without having one. And that's why you won't submit. The benefits of husbands, you're getting too many benefits without having the husband. Just like when they said, what? That man ain't gonna marry you because he getting the milk for free. Why buy the cow when you get the milk? You remember that? Y'all remember that saying? Everybody remember that. Was vice versa. These women ain't gonna submit because they getting the benefits of a husband without a husband. If I can get the good sex, if she could get the good sex without having to do what this man said, without having to answer to a man, what you think she gonna do? If she get the free meals and took out to eat and all that stuff without the benefits of a man, I mean, without the work and the compliance of dealing with the man, what you think she gonna do? It's too many benefits. It's too many benefits of the husband's been given to strange women. And in fact, and in terms, it's affecting women on mass scales because they all coming to the table thinking that they can bargain out of submission, or they don't have to use submission, but they can still get the benefits. So when we read this, 35, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. Why? For it is a shame. Hold on, Miss Talk a Lot, Miss Know It, Miss I'm gonna go back and forth even after I get the correction. This is the church, and we are in the church. But guess what you would be doing in the church if you want to make your wedding, you want to make your marriage the literal church. Guess what you would be doing in there? Shutting the fuck up and doing what you told. That's what you. And if you're gonna continue to follow and watch these videos, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna learn to be obedient. You're gonna start submitting, and you're gonna shut the fuck up when correction come out. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home. For it is a shame for women to speak in the church. When you're amongst us, you are commanded to be quiet and under obedience. And the problem is like I've said over and over today, you don't want to submit. You want your emotions and your feelings and everything to be twisted into the matter before you want everybody. You want it to. You want a motherfucker to fake like they understand what you're saying. As long as I'm heard. As long as I'm heard. That's all I'm saying. As long as you heard. As long as you heard. As long as you heard. Shut the hell up. First Peter's. As long as I'm heard. Hold on. Hold on. Hold Peter's. Proverbs 9. Proverbs 9. Proverbs chapter 9, verse 13. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 13. And it reads, for a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. A foolish woman is clamorous. Yap, 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 yap. Yap, 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 yap. You got to simple and knoweth nothing. This is why we try to save you women from yourselves. Try to save you from yourselves. But you figure you know it all. And then you do what? You make a fool out yourself. You embarrass yourself, or you know what? You embarrass your damn household. And then what happens? Instead of falling into submission and repenting, you double down on it because you're too prideful to just stand up and be wrong. Too prideful to say I'm sorry. I messed up. Now you're gonna double down. You're gonna argue until you win in your mind. That's what they mean by you a killer man. Like that's when brothers used to say, "Man, you're not finna fucking kill me. You're not finna kill me." You know what that point when he always feel like he gotta catch himself before he just gotta like that catch yourself right before you snap jump. That should kill you. And it comes from unruly women. who don't want to submit. Now you want to make yourself even to the man, like Eve thought she would do. And then what happened? As I displayed from the beginning, when we was in Genesis, the Lord spoke to Adam. Adam gave the order to his wife. The Lord has always put it where that man has direct dominion over his wife. And when she violated that, we go back to the very beginning again. I don't understand how we have an argument about submission, of who submits to who, when we can go to the very beginning and read it. So let's go to the very beginning and read who listens to who submits to who. Genesis 3:16. I gotta let me get it real quick. Genesis 3:16. Okay. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrows in thy conception, and in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desires shall be to thy husband. And here's the piece. And he shall rule over thee. And he shall rule over thee. He think he rule me. He shall rule over thee. He's so controlling. He shall rule over thee. From the beginning, we see between a husband and a wife, man has dominion. Man rules. How does he rule? Under the fear of the Lord. He submits to the Most High. You submit to him. Where do we get confused at? I know how I need to be led. No, you want to do what you want to do. How the hell you? No, most people, if you leave most people to lead themselves, will they choose what's best for them, or will they choose the things that looks nice, the things that felt good, the things that they want? What normally happens when you leave people to their own devices with no supervision? What happens? Do they leave? Just take a look at the world. 22-year-old women, 3 kids, no husband. We got twerk models 6,000s, cucumber challenges, who can suck and deep throat cucumbers on the internet. Every day it's a new show your ass or your coochie print video. I know how I need to be. You do not. That's why he said it that way. That's why he said it that way. For a man to rule over his wife. Because if we leave it to you, you'll destroy your damn self. But every time, I know how I need to be led. And then you be on Instagram sucking cucumbers. And somebody goddamn restaurant making all that motherfucking noise. Scared the shit out of them goddamn white people. They looking, jumping and looking back and shit. Y'all all on fucking tables with your damn tongue out. And your retarded ass friends slapping your ass. Get it, bitch. That's what y'all do when y'all lead yourselves. That's what y'all do. Go in there and make a goddamn fool out yourselves, making all that goddamn noise in the restaurant. Your father should have popped up and went across the back of your goddamn heads. Like the Most High said, if your father had to spit in your face, we wouldn't have to do this. Some of you have never seen what it was to submit, and all of a sudden, now you know how you need to be led. You got terms of what it takes for you to submit. What fucking negotiation list can we get of Christ and tell him, well, you need to do this, and then do that, and then do this, and then, you know what I'm saying, Christ, then we'll submit to you. We'll submit to you when you do this, and you do that, and you do this, and you do that. But if you ain't gonna do all that, then I could do bad by myself. Christ, if you ain't gonna do this and do that, I could do bad by myself. But that's how y'all come in. Y'all gonna come in and tell a man he better do this and do that and do that, or you can do bad by yourself. You can submit by yourself. You don't gotta submit. I like to see I want to see what Sarah told Abraham. Did she tell him? She told him he better do something, and then see Sarah didn't come and tell Abraham what he better do it for her to submit. It's not in here for him to submit to you. He submit to the Lord. You submit to him. And that was in the literal church. And then in your marriage, you guess what? You practice the same thing that you practice in the literal church. Only thing is you listening. You directly under this man now. Directly. So now it's your marriage. You play a equal accountability in it, but your role is still what? You are the one that's yielding to the superior that's there, and then he's yielding to the commandments of the Lord. Yeah, and that's how that works. My mind went blank. I forgot what I was about to go to. Anywho, pray you got something from this. Pray you got something from it. But one more thing. Let me get something real quick. Let's go to Matthew 14. Matthew 14. So I'm in Mark. That's what I'm saying. Matthew 14. So after that, they come to Christ. Christ tells them to bring the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. We know what happens. Christ, you know, does his thing. He provides and he makes sure all eats, right? So that's the benefit of the husband. So at that point,